Hi, everyone. Happy Friday. Happy Easter Friday, I should say, and welcome to Mission Apollo episode 45. Today, we're mixing up the squad a little bit. This gentleman needs no introduction, although, as you can see, his skin is glowing following the most recent series of beauty treatments. We'll get into that in just a couple of minutes. But we also have Aaron, our engineer. Aaron, how are you?
I'm pretty good, pretty good.
Thanks for joining us. I know you were originally planning on filling in for a while, but we've been graced with this present, so now we can double down on the technical questions today. So, any technical questions, you're in luck. You've got
This
basically
is the week, yeah.
two main brains behind product that I follow all in one session. Welcome everyone. Nice to see you. I see some of the usual suspects in the comments. Justin, Yaz, nice to see you guys. We're going to work our way through the questions that were submitted pre-show. Aaron, do you think you could pull them up for us and take us through them one at a time?
Yeah. So Randy prepared a couple of questions before the podcast. The first one is about the tire. So the self-healing tires, so the tires that we've been using in the past 2 years on all of our scooter. So how long would the self-healing or should the self-healing tire last? So I guess we could also touch maintenance in this point, like pressure and stuff like that. On our side, I think about 2,000 or 3,000 kilometers LOL on a set of tire, like 1 season, 2 riding season. That's about how much we see them last.
Yes.
Yeah. But tire pressure, like riding condition, tire pressure, etc., all have a big effect on how long they would last.
Yeah, so people can check the tire pressure that is written on the tire to be safe. And you have some gel inside, right? So if it's underinflated, it's going to eat the gel, like heat the gel, and it's going to obviously last not as long. So yeah, having the optimal pressure is recommended.
Yeah, but every 2 riding season, you should look into changing your tires for sure. Even just to slip and fall, there's a lot less grip as your tire wear out.
So maybe on the subject of self-healing tires, because obviously they're not as easy to swap as maybe tires on a scooter with inner tubes. What would be your guys' recommendation if I have a city, for example? Am I better off just buying the whole assembly, and swapping my motors as well, or what are your thoughts on that?
Well, the City is the only scooter with no easy plug connectors on the motor, so it's definitely harder to change the motor than the tire. The only thing the tire change is pretty easy on the City, but what we are seeing more and more with those tires that are tubeless is the little pump that people have at home is not strong enough to make the tire stick to the rim. So let's say your tire is completely flat, or you remove the tire and install a new one. You're going to put the air pump, try to inflate it, and the air all going to leak between the tire and the rim. And you can try to press on it to make it stick, and then once the pressure build up, it's going to be fine. But the easiest thing by far to do is just bring it to your local garage where they have a big compressor and just shoot 100 psi in it. It's a way of speaking, don't inflate it to 100 psi, but that's going to make this tire stick right away, and you're going to save a lot of trouble by doing this.
There's actually a helpful trick here too, Elwa. One thing that I did, I used to do landscaping and stuff, and the tires would always we would have punctures all the time. Whenever you change the tire, you can also apply grease. You can also apply a lot of grease all between your tire and your rim, and then that can plug the air from coming out. And it's going to be a total mess, but then you can wipe it off after. But that would allow the air to just inflate just enough for the tire to sit on your rim, and then you're good to go. So sometimes just with a grease gun, you just, in French you say tu le beurre, you just butter it right up with grease, and it should work. That's a little trick that I've used before.
And lastly, if both of these options sound intimidating, basically, we're going to be announcing the addition of, I want to say 33 new repair centers? 28, sorry. Okay, 28 repair centers by next week, which means that the access to certified and qualified technicians is dramatically going to increase. So maybe if you want to just pay for it, bring it to one of those locations and have them swap the tire for you.
It's really easy to damage the rims while doing it. And then if you damage the rim, then you have to change the motor pretty much. So cool. So the next question is, how has Apollo's testing and QC evolved over the years? I remember Elwa did a video about the Phantom testing rig. in Montreal back in 2021. So that was probably 3 years ago. About it has changed a lot in the last 3 years for sure. I've been here for 2 years and a half, and I remember when I first started, we were using the testing rigs, but that was about it, I think.
Yeah, so that's that testing rig was well, it's the best we could do at the time, right? Like even with no resource, we're already trying to like test our stuff. But how it evolved, it's basically we passed from someone on the south shore of the Montreal Island here building a custom rig for us to put the Phantom in, and that was just doing mileage testing. To now we have like a suite of rigs that people can see on YouTube directly at our factory. And we bought some of them ourselves as well to just put our scooter on this, and we basically always try to buy the most tough rig that's going to break our scooter. And this is what we want with our rig. We don't necessarily want to do 10,000 kilometers and nothing happen. We want the scooter to snap, to see where we can like reinforce it. What is the limit of the scooter? How does it compare to competitor scooter as well? So we have this for the testing methodology, and it's coupled with all the beta testers that we have. That with the Pro, we put how many? 75,000 kilometers before releasing a model. So this is insane. We're looking at Segway on their page. It claimed 3,000 miles for their new model. So it's 20 times above that. So we put a lot of real world testing, which is just as important as the rig testing, because you have so many different factors in real world testing. And lastly, for QC, this is pretty straightforward. We hired our own team in China to report directly to us. That is on top of the QC at the factory. So there's two different QC teams that almost compete with each other. So to really to get a real picture of what is happening, basically. And Aaron worked really hard to also implement all the different SOPs that we have. So the way to assemble scooter, make it clear, like what is the torque for every screw, like the Loctite that should be used, the little thing that we need to be mindful when you assemble scooter. There's a lot of small parts that need to be assembled carefully. So all of this together is what we added since that testing rig on the South Shore in 2021.
Yeah, it's also like FEA analysis. We used to outsource that as well, but now I don't know how many iterations we go through, maybe like 6, 7, 8 iterations of FEA analysis, and then we'll put it on the rig too. We confirm that often, like 90% of the time, the fracture happens exactly at the same spot. Like we really do a lot of cross-checking. The process is definitely much better. And like you said, so one machine, sometimes we test all of our scooters up to 10,000 kilometers also on the machine. But like Elva said, we have another machine that's brutal. And just because sometimes we want it to break within a day. So we'll be applying hundreds of kilograms of force on a part and just trying to break it. It's really cool. Yeah. Okay.
The last thing there that, isn't really talked about as much, but we also do like 25 plus certifications for every model we release, right? So most famously the UL certification. So in addition to all the internal testing we do, there is also a whole bunch of external testing that happens as well.
Well, UL is huge. I'm very happy we started applying for it before the regulation started in New York. It was really like looking ahead, kind of trying to figure out what was going to happen. And I'm very happy we were proactive with that because, Okay. The next question is there a difference in the folding mechanism of the City and the Pro? I'm a heavier rider and I need it to be solid. So I'm assuming they're talking about this locking mechanism on the City being solid. I'm not sure. So yes, there is a difference. It's very similar, but the overall design is there is a difference between the two. They're both extremely strong. You can talk maybe a little bit more about that, Elva, but there are some differences.
Both great design. The difference between the two, it's unnoticeable. It's just us on our 3D we know the difference. If you are a heavier rider, I don't know how heavy, but I would suggest, and if you have the budget for the Pro, go for it. The Pro is going to be, the Pro and the City are worth it, but the Pro is just something of its own. There's never going to be another scooter made like this because it doesn't make any sense to make a scooter with this manufacturing method. It's just so expensive, but the quality of it is just, it's out of this world. So if you can afford it, go for the Pro. If you are more budget sensitive, the City is still a great option.
Even on my side, whenever I do testing, like the FEA testing and also the rig testing, we have like 3 different level of weight, let's say, like internally in our protocol. So the first level is like for the Go, I guess, and even maybe like something even smaller. So that's like I'll apply certain type of load for that range of scooter. And then we have like the city air, but mostly the city and other scooter range. That's like a mid-range. But then the Pro, it's kind of in a league of its own with the Phantom. And now we're testing the A11. So anything that's very very off-road oriented, etc. So we'll apply like that third range of testing. So the Pro is much stronger than the city for that reason too. Everything I test with is, I think, 30% more force for the Pro than I would test on the city. So if you're really concerned, go with the Pro. Yeah.
Just before the comments explode, A11 is the scooter we're not announcing yet, so don't even bother asking.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. But we're testing it early, as you can tell, so that's the good news.
Okay. Anything else on that? Do we want to do some chat?
I'll go quickly over the other question. Will the dot display be coming to the city? As you know, we're implementing that display on all the models. So yes, it would make sense that the city would be the next one to benefit from this, along with the other innovation we brought to the Go, for example, the way we fold it, we clip it. So you can, I'll let you figure it out. But yes, we're looking into it.
Not in 2024, just
not in 2024. Yeah. Can the city, I'll leave it as this. Can the city be used for trail riding like the Phantom? My commute to work cuts through a park. Definitely, the city is great for trail riding as well. You know, the Phantom at least have the quadruple suspension, a lot more responsive, but the city is great as well. And I myself always take it for trail riding, and something like a park, it's no problem for it. What is
I wouldn't climb a mountain with it, but yeah, I would go through a park. I said I wouldn't climb a mountain with it, but I would go through a park for sure. That's not an issue.
Can the city be used for trail? No. What is the real world range of the Go? It's about 20 miles if you gun the throttle, like 18 to 20 miles. That's what you're gonna get if you really go hard on it.
There's a really good video from a guy called what was his handle? Tom's Gadget Garage. Tom's TOMS Gadget Garage. He did a full range test on the Apollo Go. So if you're curious to see, what it's like to go basically a specific speed, you can check it out.
Yeah, great video. And lastly, do you offer discount for students?
Yes, in the US, you can go to our website, go all the way down, and in the footer, you'll see there's a military and student discount section. From there, you can basically submit a photo of your ID, your student ID, and it'll authenticate. And assuming that it's not, fraudulent or copied, you should be able to get a discount. The discount, I believe, is 5%. And in Canada, that's going to be available as of next week. So if you're in Canada, hang tight.
All right. And now for the question live.
Okay. Thank you for all this activity. I see we have quite a backlog to work through here. My wife and I purchased a Phantom in City last fall. We are happy with both units. Unfortunately, there was nowhere we could ride it before purchasing in Vancouver, so we took a big chance. Judging by the amount of returns with very low kilometers, others aren't as lucky in big Canadian cities. It would make sense to make arrangements with scooter rental shops. They would set up okay. I'm not sure what you're getting any insights about our return rates from, or perhaps what you're referring to. But as we mentioned, we're about to expand our servicing network by about 28 stores. And a big part of that program is also including test drives on those at those locations. So Peter, if you're ever curious about testing out other models, there's going to be a location called Repair and Run in Vancouver where you'll be able to, for example, check out the Apollo Go or maybe even the Pro if they choose to stock it. So definitely we're taking that into consideration because we know it's a big purchase for most people and you definitely want to see it in person. Justin, surprised that Mission Nepal is happening even on Easter Friday. Yeah, no rest for the wicked. Oh wow, how was your China trip? What did you do?
It was great. It was great. As you can see, I got a face massage. That was pretty awesome. It was great. It was very insightful. Again, we went there for the other big production of the Apollo Go with a couple of changes we made. and the production of the city as well. And we had the chance to go see other things we're making, and also accessories like the lock, the production of the lock. So very insightful. I'm glad we went because there was a couple of things to improve that we realized. But yeah, every time I'm having a blast there. It's the team there is so determined to help Apollo and make us succeed that it's always very refreshing to go there and just see the sheer amount of people behind us that we don't see every day. So it went fantastically well, and it allowed us to also align for all the future project with all the key people that's going to participate in it, the different factory suppliers. So everything went super well. A++. Thank you.
Technical question. Seems strange battery meter readings on the Apollo Go. Mine ends up saying I'm using over 100% of my battery for longer rides and fluctuating upwards of 20% at a time. Still rides fine.
So for this, I need to check. I saw that someone else reported that to me too. I don't know if Laiz, if it's you, Paul. I think you know how it works. As soon as you press the accelerator, the voltage is going to drop, and then it's going to go back up when you release it. It's called voltage sag. And with 21700, the battery we use, it's not as bad as other battery, but it's normal. And what we do in the app or even the display is that we don't refresh this every second, because you would see this always jump. So we refresh it maybe every 5 or 10 seconds. It depends. I think maybe for the Go, we didn't implement this rule, and you see it jump more than what we should display. So I need to check with the team what's happening there. But your battery is... the battery on the Go are fantastic. So I have no doubt that you're having that it's working fine. But I'll look into it in the app. And if you're having issues, just record your ride, reach out to CX, and then I'll be able to see the battery health diagnostic in the back end, and I can tell you right away if there's something wrong. So that's what I would suggest. And in the meantime, I'll look with the dev for that.
From Justin, for inflating tubeless tires, there is also a zip tie method where you zip tie the tire before attempting to inflate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that works well, but I believe this, Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, it's easier if you can pass the zip tie through the rim, right? Like to tie, which we can't with our model because the motors are full. But yes, usually what people do, to Justin's point, is that they wrap the zip tie around the tire and the rim, so it's going to compress it. And when you inflate it, it's already like so tight to the rim that it's going to work. This works well when it's not a motor, like the front wheel of the City single motor, for example. That's a great way to do it.
Cool. There seems to be a sentiment in Reddit that Apollo still doesn't design our own scooters. The most recent example is that the Punk Rider Pro is a copy of the Pro. How can you combat this?
Well, for this, we have design patent. Okay, so that this design, it's owned by us. And of course, we design those scooters. It's not even a question.
Yeah. Well, okay. So
we're talking. We have our design patents, and I don't know how much we can say, but yeah, they copied our design 100%. That's all.
Which is inevitable, right? We knew this going into this game, and the Pro took a long time to develop because it was one of the first and most complicated scooters we designed from the ground up. And inevitably, as soon as you start sharing those designs, someone in China starts copying them, especially if design is one of the main selling points. Now, what's interesting about Punk Rider is that it's the same team that used to do Hero scooters, which we actually were about to start selling. We ordered a number of samples from them. We tested them. In the end, we ended up not proceeding because the quality wasn't there. But that's what essentially that's how we got introduced to the team behind Hero. And so we were not at all surprised that they decided to copy our designs. That said, again, without getting into the legal details of how we're going to handle the situation, I wouldn't recommend buying a Punk Rider Pro because I don't think you're going to be able to get parts or support for that scooter in North America for much longer. So I'll leave it at that. Can amps be used towards Connect Plus subscription? That's actually a really good idea.
Right now, no. But I think it's just a question of making the Connect Plus available on the website as an item, and then you can purchase it with the points. Compared to now, you can only buy it via the app, the mobile app. So yes, it's something we can do for the future. It's a good recommendation.
Is it possible for the City 2022 to get a firmware update to the display to get it in line with the City 2023?
Yeah, so for this, we can update the firmware of our display and the controller. The controller, we could always update it. It's easy. For the display, we need to use another Chinese app that is, it's not well made, and it's only on Android. So that's why we don't want to send it to people. It's because it's a mess to update your thing, and it's easy to break your scooter. So now that was one of the points when we went to China to ask the suppliers of our display to basically connect it with the controller and be able to do firmware update for the display and the controller, which they agreed. We're gonna get the test version for iOS tomorrow that we're gonna test, and if everything works well, they're gonna implement it for Android as well. So like we said before, we're looking at around May to implement this feature, and this will then allow you to update your display to get the latest feature, like the infinite turning signal or the cruise control activation via the left turning signal as well. What's coming?
Beautiful. Any updates on accessories? I ordered the new lock box and mirrors and can't wait to receive them.
Yeah, so like I said, we went to China. I saw the production, like it was assembled in front of me. We QC'd all of them as well. And yeah, it's ready. It's in the box. We're putting the barcodes today on it to identify them when it gets to our fulfillment center. So I guess in about 3 weeks to a month, that's when we get it in our warehouse. Then it takes maybe a week to put it in the system and ship them out. So you would be looking at early May. It's going to be worth it. Again, going there and testing the thing out of the mold in a big production, it was so smooth and the box was beautiful. So it was longer than we planned. So sorry for that, but we're making the best luck in the world, right? It takes some time.
It was longer because we decided to change the design to
May.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was longer too as well because we decided to stop the previous design because we noticed it was not working perfectly. It was working great, but this time we do believe it's really working perfectly. So
yes. And Aaron is referring to the previous design. We had the stopper and the cable, so you could take it out and it was doing clack, 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 and then the cable, to retract it, you had to pull and then retract. We removed that design, and now it's always retracting. It's just gonna last much longer.
And for the mirrors, we should be having them fairly soon too. We were just working on creating rubber inserts or a mirror fit on all of our scooters. So you buy one mirror and it just fits on all models. And all the molds are open now and everything, so that should be coming fairly soon.
Yes, exactly.
They're coming. You'll have them for the riding season. I think that's always been the goal. Just kind of May onwards, you're fully equipped and ready to go. Okay, would the City battery be upgraded to use similar cells that the Apollo Go is using? As in 21700?
But it's already using it. They all have an EV cell, all our scooters. It's the exact same cell that it's using.
Yeah, so all of our scooters, like the Air, the Go, the City, all have the same cells. The Pro has Samsung, right? So
yes, and now EV. We decided to switch EV because it's straight up better from the charts. Except they all have the same cell except the Phantom.
Yes. Okay. That would be an interesting episode to do on as well, just battery cells, and we can bring up some of that research that you found there. Punk Rider looks like a cheap knockoff, even has the region lever. I mean, yeah, guys, if anyone out there is in a position to buy the Pro and the Punk Rider, I highly encourage you to. I think once you see both products side by side, that'll answer all of your questions.
And it's out there, huh? If you do a little bit of research on Reddit, you're gonna find a lot of things about that.
City was using Dynavolt. Yeah, so I think, Justin, you're talking about the old City, like the City, what is it, 2021? Yeah, that would have been the Dynavolt cells, but we've moved away from that a long while ago. Cool. I think we've reached the end of all the questions. Since we have 5 minutes left, what kind of content did you capture in China that people can expect to see in the coming weeks?
Skincare routine,
obviously.
That was a big one. We got a lot of question about this. It's Korean product with 24 karat gold flicker in it. It's true. And the snail slime. That's a secret, actually. Tony Moly, that's a brand. Let's see. Except that we went to, like I said, the different suppliers. So I took the production and videos, the production. This time I went alone, so it was a bit harder. Usually, it's both of us and we can record, and it's a bit easier. But we took the production of the lock, so recorded from the start to finish, to all the way to the boxing, how it's being made. So I think that's going to be interesting. And we also recorded the whole lab where we test the lock. There's a lot of tests, the retraction of the cable, we do it 50,000 times. The material that we use, how we get the certification for the lock, how strong it is, the cable. Obviously, that's one we want to test. Also, is it going to rust? This is a box that's going to be mounted outside, so we need to see. So that's going to be coming out. We did interesting interviews as well with, like I said, the key people at our factory to show to the rest of the team. It's more internally, but yes, we did that. So you're not going to see it, but it's one of the interviews we did. I didn't take much videos of the production because, again, it was the go in the city, and we recorded both of them already. And we have a lot of, I think what could be interesting to show is all the improvement we've made. There's the box of the Go, for example, that we reinforced it, the software of it for the lights, and a bunch of other things like this. Probably have 20 slides on this. That would be interesting. And again, a big part of it was focused for the future of our lineup. So obviously, Aaron mentioned it a little bit, at the beginning, one of those projects, but so it's nothing we can share right now.
Question for you, Eloi. Is the skincare routine compensating for your peanut allergy when you go to China?
No, it's not.
No. Yeah, you guys didn't see
That was
it.
a question from Justin.
He lives off of three things. It's the pasta that you make for yourself, the fruit that you get to eat, and the rice wine that you get to drink, obviously.
Rice wine, and we get some kind of bubble tea with mangoes and cheese there, and we get this every day. I must have taken 5 pounds going there, but this is honestly, it's horrible. It's horrible, but it's worth it for going there. But yeah, I ate tortellini, the noodle stuff with meat the whole week. Well, too much carbs.
Yeah, and you probably get taken out to dinner every single day.
Yeah,
for the 10 days that you're there for, right? So all the food smell, all the nice looking meat that you can't touch right in front of you. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. I think the first trip was the worst for you, though. Yeah, that was brutal.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's the end of the episode. Thank you everyone for tuning in, even though it's a holiday edition. Hopefully you have an amazing weekend. If you are taking an extra day off, make sure to go out for a nice ride and take advantage of hopefully what is nice weather where you live as well. Aaron, thank you for joining as always. Really appreciate having you, man. Oh well.
Take care, Aaron.
Pleasure doing business with you.
Thank you.
Bye everyone.
Have a great long weekend.
Thank you.